So the first sandwich we're going to make is way more simple than the other one. It's more standard. And we're going to start off by just cutting a roll or a sub, whatever you call it in your area. We're going to start off by cutting that in half and toasting it. You can put it in a toaster if you have one, but I don't, so I'm just putting it under the broiler. While it's toasting, we're going to cut up our tomatoes because we have time and we have nothing else to do right now. So we're just going to cut thin slices of tomato, enough for the sandwich. For me, it's like 4. And then we're going to make our sauce as well, but I recommend taking your bread out before you make the sauce. We're going to add ketchup, mayo, salt, pepper, and grated garlic into the sauce. Mix it up and adjust as you like. By now your bread should be toasted. If it's not, you've done something wrong. You're going to add your sauce onto both sides of the bread, and onto that we're going to put the tomatoes. Very important to have tomato sauce contact. That's what you do in a bacon lettuce tomato sandwich, and that's what we're doing here as well. Season your tomatoes with salt and pepper and add any cheese of choice. I'm using cheddar and Swiss. I'm just going to torch that a little bit. You don't have to, but if you want to and you don't have a torch, you can just throw it under the broiler for about 2 minutes. Then we're going to add on our turkey. You can use ham, you could use whatever, but I prefer turkey to everything else. And then you could add lettuce, but I'm using a spring mix salad. Then you're going to top your sandwich off and cut it into a triangle shape. You can cut it in half, even though that's the wrong way to do it in my opinion, but you do you. And our first sandwich is ready. So we're going to move on to the croque madame now. We're going to start off with a loaf of crusty or sourdough bread, and we're going to cut 2 slices of bread. Make sure to not make the slices too thin because we are going to put a lot of stuff on it, and if it's too thin it's just going to become very soggy and that's no good. Once you've sliced your bread, we're going to make a roux by melting some butter in a pan and adding equal amounts of flour. In my case I just kept adding flour to the butter until a paste formed just like this, and then we're going to slowly add in milk. I'm using skim milk because I don't buy whole milk, but feel free to use skim or whole milk, it doesn't really matter. And we're going to slowly whisk that in. That's very important, by the way. You have to use a whisk to get everything completely homogenized. Keep adding milk little by little until you get a smooth, silky sauce. This is what's called a bechamel. Once you're done, put that to the side, and into the sandwich you're going to put that bechamel, spread it on the insides of the bread, and then you're going to add cheese and ham. As for the cheese, you're usually supposed to use Gruyere, but I couldn't find it in any of my local stores. So I'm using a combination of Swiss and cheddar, which gives a pretty similar taste in my opinion. Top the sandwich off with your other slice of bread, and you're going to butter the outsides of both sides of the bread. Once you've done this, you're going to put the sandwich into a cold pan, and you're going to slowly heat it up. The goal is to get a good crust development on both sides. If the pan is really hot initially, then the crust is going to be very thin, and it's going to get soggy very quickly. Now, when you're going to be cooking the sandwich or broiling it, use aluminum foil. Don't use parchment paper like I'm doing here. It's not a good idea. Meanwhile, you're going to place on your bechamel on top of the sandwich, and then you're going to place a healthy amount of cheese on top. You can use however much you like, and you can use ideally Gruyere cheese or any kind you like. Once you've added all your cheese, throw it under the broiler. While the sandwich is broiling, keep a close eye on that, by the way, because it can burn instantly. We're going to make our egg for the topping, so just crack an egg into some brown butter and cover it with a lid and some water. The end result of the croque madame should look something like this. Place your egg on top. By the way, if you want the yolk to leak out completely, just cook it for less and take the cover off sooner, but I like it to be kind of half cooked. And then you are done. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.